Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This one a little bit different. It's not a painting one, as you can obviously tell, but this one is more of kind of showing moments that aren't necessarily the oh, this is gonna be a beautiful piece at the end, or oh, I'm just letting my mind relax and I'm gonna doodle. This was a lot more about purposefully practicing something that I tend to struggle with, which is drawing the human form. I have a really large desire to be able to draw people from life and in motion around me. I would love to be able to go to public places and accurately capture those around me. And I say accurately catch them because I could 100% go now and capture people as they're walking by, but I know it wouldn't be to the level of my expectations. And so I practice, and as you saw from my title page, there's always that practice makes perfect saying, but something I love, and I cannot remember who said it, was that having the mindset of practice making perfection is such a destructive mindset because it creates this huge weight on your shoulders that you have to strive for perfection, and the reward is when you hit perfection. But switching the mindset more to be practice makes progress, A, makes it a lot more realistic, and B, at least for me, allows me to enjoy and appreciate the small wins along the way. Because I think we can always continue to improve. Perfection is kind of an unrealistic goal, but you can always progress and learn more things and perfect your style in the sense of you're perfecting your process. So I'm going to continue practicing. I'm going to perfect my method of not giving up and continuing to push myself and to test myself and not necessarily worrying about the outcome, but rather the actions that I do and work on to achieve a much better goal in my mindset, which is growth. So all that to say, figure drawing is something that I've tried to do. I did a figure drawing class in college, and it was definitely an interesting time. I had some very interesting moments trying to draw from life. My perspective was always something I struggled with. I found that unless I was in the ideal position, which typically was either face on with the subject or at like a 3/4 view, so kind of at an angle to the side, I had a really hard time even capturing a likeness of the model. So I've tried different classes. There's different apps you can get that will do small minute poses. So they'll have a modeled photo and you can set a timer for 60 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, etc. And the goal is to teach your mind to start recognizing different things quickly. And it really is a great practice to do it that way. And I do that somewhat here, but the mindset is going, here's an image, I'm going to set a timer for 60 seconds, and my main goal is not to capture details, but to capture the motion. So where are the limbs? Not what do the limbs look like, but where are they? What is the motion? What's the direction of the body? Then doing that something that's 3 minutes might be, okay, I want to grasp more of the curvature of the body. Where are the hips? Where are the arms leaning, and how do the arms flow and mold? 5 minutes might be a little bit more about, okay, now we've got a little bit more detail about the musculature of the body, right? And you kind of grow on that aspect. And Something that I also was looking into was not only doing practices such as those or live drawings or watching videos, but I also have books that I've been looking at. One of them is the 21 Draw Illustrator's Guidebook. I was gifted this series for Christmas, and it's something that I have been looking at for a while, and I'm very grateful to have this book. And throughout the book, they have different lessons for artists in general. And they have other artists that will write sections and share their story and their expertise and their techniques. So this one was Drawing the Ideal Female with Warren Low, and there are a couple things that I kind of took away from it as just general help. Some of them was that if you want the poses of your figures to look natural and be believable, and this is, directly from what he stated, he says, quote, "I suggest studying the dominant line of action or flow of the poses. This can be done in various ways. You want to work simply at this because it is not about the details or accuracy of anatomy." So that's kind of where I started at the initial spread of this page, was just getting the lines of the body. And then I kept going, and something I started doing on this spread and then honestly got bored and didn't keep doing was that he states again just a little bit after. He says, quote, "I used to draw pages of a wide range of poses. These figure studies looked great, and I felt really confident. Sadly, when I tried drawing from memory, the results were poor. I felt frustrated and disappointed in myself." What he ended up realizing was, quote, "I was drawing plenty of studies of different poses, but I wasn't properly learning any of them. Instead, I made a brief study of each pose, then moved on to the next. The key is repetition. Training for anything requires a lot of repetition, and art is no different," unquote. And I think the advice that Warren provides in his little section so true and was a great reminder, and is something that I hope to continue. But it was the mindset of kind of do it as a series. Again, you can do it with those time frames. You can go on Pinterest, you can look up figures for drawing or sketching, and typically you'll find people of different poses, or you can just look up photography of dynamic poses. There's a lot that you can look up. Dancers, it's a great way. But find one image that appeals to you. Doesn't have to be super complicated, but do one image. Start off setting yourself a timer. 60 seconds is fine, whatever time frame you want. And just focus on the movement. Then do that at least 2 to 3 more times. And it's memorizing and training your eye how to capture the details of that image. And then when you go to, say, 3 or 5 minutes of that same image, now focus on just a little bit more details. Instead of just the lines of the structure of the body, now go into more of the shapes of the forms and the limbs of the body. Then set yourself a timer for, 5-10 minutes, however you want to do it. And now go into more detail. What's the face structure looking like? What is the contour of the face, the contour of the limbs and the body, right? But it's the same image. And the argument that Warren makes is that doing that repetition of the same model and the same pose in different forms is training your mind to recognize that movement and to recognize that pose. So then when you do go out into the world and you want to draw people from life, your mind starts to learn how to take snapshots of bodies and to memorize, this is what that individual looked like, this is how it would be drawn. And then that even takes you to the next step of being able to go, I now can imagine that body in a, I guess you could say, 3-dimensional form, and then you can imagine it in different poses. And for me, that was something mind-blowing, something I hadn't really thought about or heard, but definitely something that I want to try. So I plan on doing a couple more spreads, focusing a little bit more on repetition of the same pose and model. On this spread, I didn't really do that. Like I said, I kind of got bored and I wanted to do a variety of poses, a variety of body types, male, female. And so I kind of let that desire dictate what I was doing here. But I definitely feel the need and the desire to do more repetition practice. All in all, if you have struggled with figure drawing, I hope some of the tips that I shared here really speak to you and inspire you and give you some ideas. If there are things that you've been trying to master or practice, I'd love to know what they are. I'd love to kind of build that community of people who are also learning their craft and what tricks and tips you find extremely helpful for you to learn. I'm excited to see where this journey goes as I continue to learn new tricks as well as continuing to flourish techniques that I really love to do naturally. Here's a quick little review of these final or finished poses. Here's a little bit slower of a view of it, but thank you guys so much. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for any comments and likes, just the love. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one and hearing what you guys like to do when you're learning a new project.